Hip-hop legend Eazy-E was no stranger to controversy, rising to fame as a member of the NWA alongside such greats as Dr. Dre, MC Ren, Ice Cube, and DJ Yella. He firmly placed gangster rap on the world stage as a music genre to be reckoned with. Then, at the height of his solo career, all of that ended suddenly. Eazy-E's tragic death at just 30 years old sent shockwaves through the music world. The rapper had just spent the last few years at the top of the industry, and seemingly out of nowhere his health turned for the worse. In early 1995, he was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Hospital after feeling ill with a cough. Subsequent tests revealed that he had AIDS. On March 26, 1995, the rapper passed away, only 2 weeks after this diagnosis from what doctors call AIDS-induced pneumonia. It's generally believed that Eazy-E contracted the deadly virus from a past sexual partner. But that specific piece of information was never confirmed by the star before his passing. Conspiracies have floated around since then that the quickness of his diagnosis and death were premeditated, and some even alleged that Suge Knight, who was beefing with the rapper at the time, had someone purposefully infect him with the virus. Of course, these claims have never been verified or substantiated, but the rumors around Eazy-E's passing have kept it a topic of conversation for decades after his death. Halston, the celebrity fashion designer, whose creations included gowns for Liza Minnelli and pillbox hats for Jacqueline Kennedy, died March 26, 1990 at Pacific Medical Center of AIDS-related lung cancer. He was 57. Halston spent the last 3 months of his life in the hospital. He died in his sleep. He lived an openly gay lifestyle alongside his boyfriend Victor Hugo. According to Halston biographer Stephen Gaines, the fashion designer never came out as gay on the record, but lived an openly gay lifestyle. His most well-known relationship was with Venezuelan-born window dresser Victor Hugo, with whom he had a chaotic relationship that necessitated a non-disclosure agreement. Halston, which was the designer's middle name, became one of the best-known labels in fashion and changed the way women dressed in the 1960s. But he sold the rights to his name in 1973 for $16 million, creating a tangle that diluted his influence. Upon Halston's death, his brother revealed the designer requested that his beloved $300,000 Rolls-Royce be auctioned off, with the proceeds going to AIDS research, the Associated Press reported. Walt Whitman was an American poet who lived from 1819 to 1892. Whitman, one of the major American poets of the 19th century and a central figure in both the transcendentalism and realism traditions, is best known for his lengthy poetry collection Leaves of Grass, which he revised several times throughout his life. Walt Whitman was born on May 31, 1819, in West Hills, on Long Island, New York. Whitman worked as a printer in New York City until a devastating fire in the printing district demolished the industry. In Brooklyn, Whitman continued to develop the unique style of poetry that later so astonished Ralph Waldo Emerson. In 1855, Whitman took out a copyright on the first edition of Leaves of Grass, which consisted of 12 untitled poems and a preface. He published the volume himself and sent a copy to Emerson in July of 1855. Whitman released a second edition of the book in 1856, containing 32 poems, a letter from Emerson praising the first edition, and a long open letter by Whitman in response. In 1873, Whitman suffered a stroke that left him partially paralyzed. A few months later, he traveled to Camden, New Jersey, to visit his dying mother at his brother's house. He ended up staying with his brother until the 1882 publication of Leaves of Grass, which brought him enough money to buy a home in Camden. In the simple 2-story clapboard house, Whitman spent his declining years working on additions and revisions to his deathbed edition of Leaves of Grass and preparing his final volume of poems and prose, Goodbye, My Fancy. After his death on March 26, 1892, Whitman was buried in a tomb he designed and had built on a lot in Harley Cemetery.